Hey guys, it's Diana. Welcome back to my channel. Really quick, I just want to say that I am pre-recording these videos, so if you see me in the same outfit for a bit, that is why. Today I want to talk about something that I think is actually pretty important. A good friend of mine had suggested doing a video on fashion tips for the blind community, and me, because I am visually impaired and this friend of mine is also visually impaired, I thought it was a great idea. I think that my biggest tip, my number one tip for the community is to dress appropriately for the occasion. I could sit here and talk to you guys about color theory and matching and what goes good and patterns versus solid colors. Typically, all you would really need to know is neutral tones such as black, blue, white, gray, beige. They pretty much go together with anything. Red can sometimes also fall into that as well, depending. But if you, for example, have black pants, then you can wear any color top with that. However, I think that what is really lost a lot on the community in general, just because I've been around a lot of blind people, like a lot. I've been going to national conventions for the American Council of the Blind since 2014. It's 2021 right now. Granted, last year and this year they did have them virtually. However, I have seen people from literally all walks of life. And prior to that, I did go to quite a few outreach programs at Perkins School for the Blind, because if you forgot, I'm from Massachusetts. All too many times, unfortunately, I've seen people show up to things not dressed appropriately. For example, there was one time that I had done an internship with the Commission for the Blind, and they had an opening ceremony for said internship. The general consensus was that you had to dress appropriately, like you were going to a formal event. Not necessarily business casual, but more formal. So you would think a dress or a nice top and slacks or a skirt for women, and pants, like nice slacks, a button-down shirt for men, potentially a tie. No denim. I did see at least one person show up to that event in jeans and a t-shirt. Granted, we were in high school, college, whatever at that point. Mainly college. We were all young adults, but still, I think that a lot of it has to do with the environment that people may have been brought up in. Maybe they weren't really taught that they have to wear certain things to certain events. For example, the banquets that they do at the conventions every year. I have gone to a few of them. I have not gone in recent years, but I went to like 3. In my experience, a lot of people will just wear what they wore that day to the business meetings, which is like a t-shirt and shorts or whatever, because typically the conventions consist of meetings in the general session conference room, as well as other breakout sessions and other excursions outside of the hotel for the week. If you are interested in seeing more about that, I did vlog my experience in 2019 at the ACB convention. I will leave the playlist up in the cards and also down below in the description. It was a really fun time, and I can't wait to do it next year when it's in Omaha. However, I've seen a lot of people just like wearing vacation wear when they walk into the banquet, and that's kind of weird, but also a little disrespectful in my opinion. ACB hires a keynote speaker every year to talk at the convention, to deliver a keynote speech. Maybe they play some music, they do something. If you're showing up wearing a t-shirt and shorts and sandals, or sneakers, or something that you wouldn't wear to a nice dinner, in my opinion, that is disrespecting the speaker as well as the people who are putting on this event. Again, it kind of goes back to just common sense. When I went both years, I wore a dress and heels because that's me. But everybody else I went with also wore dresses or a romper and nice shoes. Men, every man that I saw at that convention in my group of friends that I went with wore a button-down shirt and slacks and closed-toed shoes. Some of them wore ties and suit jackets as well. That was the general wardrobe that you would wear to the banquet, because the idea is that it's a fancy meal, it's capping off the end of the convention, you dress nicely. Typically they take a lot of group pictures and things like that of affiliates, and you want to be dressed the part. A lot of people either didn't get the memo, or maybe they thought that what they were wearing was appropriate, and that's okay. But at the same point, I think that just in general, there could be a lot more education on how to dress. Business casual versus casual. For example, when you work in an office environment, and I don't want to be like talking down at anybody, but if you go to work in an office building, like I had said, for a guy, you would kind of wear basically the same thing that I talked about earlier, a button-down shirt, or, you know, a polo or a collared shirt, and pants and closed-toed shoes. For a woman, you would wear nice slacks or a skirt, shoes. They could either be closed-toed or, you know, heels or sandal type shoes, but heels or wedges, not like flip-flops, not beachwear, and a nice top or a dress. Nowadays, I feel like a lot of companies are getting away from that. I had a stint working in an office for a while as a temp job. Their dress code was very casual. I saw people walking in jeans and stuff. So it kind of depends on the business. But if you're going to an interview, you also need to dress the part. You need to wear something along the lines that I just mentioned. It all goes back to that. You need to dress nicely. Again, this isn't necessarily going towards like colors and matching and things like that, because for that you can always ask a sighted person. You could label your clothes like with NFC tags or with braille labels. You could ask visual interpreting programs such as Aira or Be My Eyes, which are free apps on your phone, to assist you, because that is a sighted person looking at your clothing. For Aira, they do have a free offer, I believe it is still free, for interviewing and job seeking. They will assist you with doing any forms online that may be inaccessible or applications, as well as picking out outfits for the interview and things like that, to tell you whether or not this goes together with this. Because the last thing that you want to do is show up somewhere and you're not dressed the part, because you want to get that job, right? We live in a sighted world, and a lot of people do rely on their appearance, and that's how they make their impression, is how you look. Typically, if you walk up to somebody and you're dressed nicely, regardless of the environment, there's a chance that you may be taken a bit more seriously versus showing up in sweats or in dirty clothing. I'm not saying that I've seen people do that, but also another little tidbit I want to discuss is that I feel like a lot of people, and this again goes back to the education system, sometimes blind people may not have the best hygiene. I'm not generalizing the community here, I'm not calling anybody out specifically, but I've just noticed that in the past, that people sometimes don't tend to be the cleanest. That may go back to maybe they were just brought up by very sheltered parents, had everything done for them, or for some reason, maybe this, if they went to a school for the blind, they were not taught those things, although I don't know why, because I feel like all schools for the blind, for as far back as I can remember, have had an expanded core curriculum type thing that includes personal management, home management. But I'm getting a little off track here. I want to circle back around. Just dress nice. Even if you're going out for like a walk or a jog, that's neither here nor there. But if you're going to an event, say like a wedding or a banquet or a job interview or anything such as that, dress appropriately, because then you're more likely to be taken seriously, A, and in terms of the job interview, they make up your mind in the first like 30 seconds or less as to whether or not you're going to move forward with that application process. Just as soon as you walk in the door, they take one look at you, and if you don't look the part, you're out. In order to look the part, you have to dress the part, including keeping your hair and everything looking nice and clean and organized. The more fine-tuned things, such as actually matching prints and colors, can be done with Google searches. I'm sure other blind YouTubers have done videos on that. I can't really relate because I'm visually impaired and I can see colors and patterns and things. Sometimes I do ask a sighted person that I live with. My mother is a very fashionable woman, and I was very fortunate to be brought up with her teaching me what goes with what and what to wear to certain things. She never picked out my clothes. Well, she did when I was very, very little, but like everybody's parents did that. But you know, obviously as I got older as a normal person, I was able to pick out my own clothing. And then through that, I learned, hey, this goes with these shorts, or this doesn't go together, but put a different jacket on instead, or something like that. It's through that that I've been able to also help other people with picking out their outfits and their clothing, especially people who may not be able to see. Granted, I'm not 100% like accurate. I can occasionally get colors mixed up. If something is like a really dark blue, sometimes I think it's black or dark brown or dark purple or whatever. Some of those colors all kind of look the same to me. The more important thing here is to just dress the part. If you're going to a job interview, you want to dress like you're gonna get that job. Like you want to walk in with a button-down shirt and a tie and slacks, or in a nice appropriate dress that's not, you know, too low, that is not really modest but just looks appropriate for your interview. Again, banquets different, weddings are different. For the most part, I guess just like dress appropriately. I know that this video might seem really controversial, and I keep saying dress appropriately, and it's gonna get really monotonous, and I apologize, but I don't really know what else to say, because I have had this conversation with other people in the blind community, people who are partially sighted like myself, and we've all come to the same conclusion that there seems to be like a sort of miscommunication in that area where a lot of people just don't dress the part. Like they'll show up to something in shorts and a t-shirt when they should be wearing a button-down shirt and slacks. Anyway, that's my video. I hope that this helped you in some way. If you're part of the community, if you're visually impaired. If you're not, I hope that this gave you some insight into the community and into some of the fashion trends that at least I've seen. And with that, I'm gonna go. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.